Hello everyone, this is Exalted Pancake, and I'm going to show you how to beat 6 a.m. at the Chum Bucket in under 4 minutes. Nobody on speedrun.com has ever done this, but I'm going to show you how you can. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is set the graphics on lowest. It's going to make everything easier, everything's going to look better. Well, not necessarily. You're going to want to choose story mode and start the timing around the time that you click it. So you're going to want to hold W and D on the keyboard on this cutscene and shift so that you can properly align yourself with the door, and you're going to want to spam E. Then you're going to want to hold W and hold A. You're going to open the door, go through the side of the door, and open up Plankton's door. I see a lot of runners struggle with going through the side of the door. It saves around 1/10 of a second if you just go through the door instead or around it. And this applies to all doors in the game, so I'm just going to show you how to do this again. So you're going to want to hold W, hold A, open the door, go through the side of the door, and open up to Plankton. A good time is around 26 seconds when you get to Plankton. Then you're going to want to hit the alarm and turn around as quick as possible, and then open up the kitchen. Then you're going to want to hold W and D and shift after a while of the black fade. And this is where the first major glitch of the run comes into play. You're going to want to align yourself with the left of the sink, and then you're going to want to hold E. Essentially what you're doing is you're pulling the levers from the processing room through the men's bathroom. And this saves around 30 seconds and makes runs more consistent because you don't have to get the silver key. Mainly if Karen does spawn or starts chasing you from a short distance, you're going to want to reset your run because it's generally not worth it. Also, you don't have to worry about unlocking anything after this point because the game doesn't expect you to actually make it there without actually unlocking things, and the next loading zone won't have anything to unlock. Usually a lot of people fail to buffer their movements after this black fade. What I do is I wait 4 seconds and I press F and hold a SD and shift. Usually I don't hold my flashlight out there as frequently as I do in the recording, and I usually use the wires to see where I'm going. When you're in the breaker and you're turning it on, I would try to turn off my flashlight, mainly because that happens. Karen is way more uncooperative than she is in the first section and the second section. After turning on the second breaker, the only thing that you really need to worry about is SpongeBob, which mainly is right there. That's where a lot of runners get confused at, because you can actually go to the left of him instead of the right, which saves around 1/4 of a second if you go to the left of him. Then after this point, there's no more RNG, it's just memorization and execution. If you want to, you can rewatch this video multiple times and memorize the path, but I mainly memorized it by playing it instead of actually watching a video, so I try to do that. You can take around 2 to 3 routes that are different, but this one I found the most easiest and fastest for me. For this final section, the only thing that you're going to want to watch for is SpongeBob, because he's the only threat, and if you run straight to the door, the Chum Monster and Karen are not really going to be that big of a threat. And that's the core basics of how you get a sub 4 in 6 a.m. at the Chum Bucket. Now this next part is going to be For more advanced players or people looking for the next step, it involves a pretty precise trick that you're going to need to do throughout the entire run. But I do have an example of a sub 4-minute run at the end of the video, so you can skip to there to watch it. So for the start, I'm going to give an example of what you would do in a normal run. You're just going to start with your low graphics, start timing at story mode. Then you're going to want to start holding W and D and spam E. Then hold in W and click A after a while. Open the door and go through it, and meet Plankton. But there's an even faster way to get to Plankton, and you can use this trick throughout the entire run. It seems around 0.05 seconds or 0.1 seconds, depending on how precise you are. But essentially, you can close the door behind yourself, which doesn't make any sense at first, until you realize that you can actually clip through the door. By clipping through the door, the game automatically sends you out and pushes you. So by doing this, you can give yourself a little bit more room in front of yourself to walk. So by clipping behind yourself, you can get a little bit of a speed boost. Now, most of the time, it is a really hard trick, and this kills most of my runs. But after a while, you can get pretty consistent at it. Here's a little tip. If you're, instead of going straight for turns, I usually hold W so I can sprint in the direction I'm going, such as A or D. So whenever I'm doing a door clip, just like that one to get to the men's bathroom to pull the levers, I can see where I am inside the door, so I can get a pretty good clip. Most of the time there's good leeway, but sometimes it pushes you out the wrong way, and that's why it's pretty high risk, high reward. This door, along with a lot of other special occasions, I wouldn't try and go for a door clip, mainly because it's pretty close to you, it's behind you, and by closing the door to get there, it just really isn't that beneficial. Door clips over the entire run save around 10 to 20 seconds, so they're pretty useful. In the third section, though, you're going to need your flashlight on longer, which is more riskier. So you're going to need a nicer Karen to get through this without her spawning where you're at. Though most of the time, to get a pretty good time, you don't really need to do that much door clips inside the third section, just because it's only like 4 doors that you're going through. Doors that swing forward to you are easier than ones that swing behind you, because the ones that swing forward have a bigger hitbox to be closed, so they push you forward further, and they're also easier to time. And this is the only hard part for door clipping, but it is really high reward, though things like this can happen and instantly kill your run. And with the door control room and a lot of sharp turns, you don't want to do those door clips there. I don't know which door it is yet, but yeah, the next door, it's going to be a very sharp turn to the right, and you don't need to propel yourself forward, so we're not going to do door clips there. But here, we want to because the door is a little bit forward. And for example, here, we don't want to do a door clip either because we're turning sharp left. And like I said before, other than door clips, you also want to watch out for SpongeBob. And there you go. Now this next part is going to be the sub 4 example run. For those of you who don't really want the beginner example run, you can go over and watch my world record. A lot of optimal movement and door clipping is used there, along with some more of the better moves. So here's the example 4 run. I make a pretty big mistake here by accidentally letting go of E before the pressing button's actually finished. And this just goes to show how easy a sub 4 actually is if you do it at least suboptimally and get a little bit lucky. And that's about it for getting a sub 4 on 6 a.m. at the Chum Bucket. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a question or want to help others out, you can comment down in the comment section below. Hope you guys have a great day. See ya.